Minnesota. It is the final non-conference game of the season for each team, and the first contest for each side after a week-long holiday break. They each last played just over a week ago, and this is just the second all-time meeting between these two schools. The only other time they got together was about a quarter century ago in a game right here at Williams Arena where the Gophers won by 30. And for Minnesota, Jess, this is a team that is pretty solid on defense, but it's this end of the floor that's a big problem. They just have had trouble scoring so far this season.
66 points a game is not nearly enough. That's last in the Big Ten. So they have to find a way to knock down open shots. They've been running good offense. Their spacing has been outstanding. But on those skip passes to the opposite side when they are clearly open, they're just not knocking them down. And that's going to be critical in this game and going forward. Mid-60s doesn't win you many Big Ten games.
And going right to the basket is Jaden Martin, the junior from Miami. For Morgan State, an interesting study because this is a team that leads the MEAC conference in scoring, but they're dead last in defense.
Dead last in defense, and they don't take many threes. And you just saw on that play right there, Martin just attacks the rim. That's what they do. They only take 12 threes a game. They hit 5 of them, but they're going to put the ball on the floor and attack the rim. Talking to Coach Brodus last night, he worked with his guys in practice about picking up the ball at half court, trying to slow down transition offense because, like you said, they've just been getting lit up at that end of the floor.
Femi Odekale on that foul, sending Martin to the free throw line. And they're going to get another crack at it. And they'll pull it out and reset the half-court offense. That's something they do very well. They devour the offensive glass. Now Will Thomas, their top three-point shooter, misses on his first attempt of the afternoon. And we are scoreless, 1 minute gone by here in Minneapolis.
And Will Thomas is a great three-point shooter. He's got to knock down those open threes if they have any chance to stay with it in this game.
Parker Fox going right by Will Thomas. It is a Morgan State team that in their last 3 games have given up 99 points, 102, and 119 in consecutive outings. Martin in the paint, drops it off, and then the flush by Daniel Akatobi.
That's just what they do. They attack the paint. They come to a jump stop, give it up. They attack the rim. Minnesota has to sag and, load that opposite side of your defense so you're around the rim. But so far, great start by Morgan State to be able to get in the paint and cause some damage. Here you see Parker Fox. He is so fun to watch. Tremendous vertical leap. Played through the injuries. That's just too easy. And then at the other end, Garcia a little late to the party and gets postered.
Rob Lawson called for his first foul of the basketball game. Now here's Mike Mitchell, top three-point shooter for the Gophers, and he buries his first attempt from downtown. Mike Mitchell, the senior from San Jose, missed 7 games earlier this season because of an ankle injury. This is his 4th game back, and he's been a needed jolt to their offense.
Well, it's 10 out of 21 from beyond the arc since coming back from the injury. So he is an elite three-point shooter, and they need him to fill it up.
Will Thomas connects on his first triple, 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. And it's Morgan State by 1 here, just over 2 minutes gone by at Williams Arena. Both teams could use a bounce here this afternoon as Lakai Patterson misses on his first 3. As Morgan State has dropped 3 of 4 coming in. Minnesota, 2 of their last 3. There's a steal by Parker Fox, and he finishes in transition.
Well, he is so active, and defense has not been the problem for Minnesota. Now, they've been in a lot of close ball games. Their defense has kept them in it, even with the low scoring. But you see Fox right there just getting his hands low, coming up with the steal, and getting the run out. And this is not typical of Morgan State to be raining in threes this early in the game.
Rob Lawson connecting from downtown. A team that doesn't take many threes at all. There's only one other side in all of Division I college basketball that even attempts as few threes as Morgan State. Here's Dawson Garcia, corner 3, and it is a 3-point shooting contest here in the first 4 minutes as the Gophers claim the lead by 1.
Oh, that's a great sign for Garcia. We featured him for a reason. He's only 3 for his last 24 from beyond the arc coming into this one, but he's still at the 30th percentile, so he's a much better shooter than that. It's really nice to see that first one go in.
Already 7 lean changes here in the early going. Minnesota much more deliberate in their offense than Morgan State, as the Bears like to run, get out in transition. Fast break points are a key to their success.
Well, Garcia, so versatile. Very difficult for 4s and 5s to guard him because he can stretch the defense. If you're going to give him that open look, he's going to find his rhythm and drill it. That's too open right there for number 2.
Mike Mitchell, his second three-point basket here. Coming off a terrific outing in the last game for Minnesota just over a week ago, a win here over FDU at 18 points, 6 boards, and 5 assists. His best game so far this season. Down low to Akatobi, spin move, blocked by Parker Fox, comes right to Hobbs, who lays it up and in. Cameron Hobbs, the redshirt senior from Georgia.
Coach Johnson told us last night at practice, the #1 key for his team is transition defense. We cannot let the Bears get out and run. They get close to 20 points per game in transition. And then rebounding, he said, would be critical. We have to protect the glass. And so far, they have not done that early in this game.
Lakai Patterson, rhythm dribble. Garcia tried to tap it over to Mitchell, but it goes over to Morgan State, just shy of the 5-minute mark here in the Twin Cities. The lead has bounced back and forth. Both teams hitting threes, but right now it's Minnesota.
Stayed up late, couldn't even get to sleep. It's a huge game, and you're right. So much entertainment at a high level just within a few miles of here. And this is a critical game for Minnesota. They've got to improve offensively. They're off to a good start, but going to have to find a way to score 70, 75 points in Big Ten play to compete.
Mike Mitchell leading the charge. He'll pull it back. Garcia pulls the trigger on a 3, and he jars it for his second triple here in this first half.
Well, he's so good at sneaking behind that offense on that secondary break, setting up, getting his feet square, and when he's that wide open, he is just so tough to match up with, especially for 5 men. You have to sprint back on defense and then locate number 3.
Akatobi tried the pocket pass, comes right back to him off a tipped ball, and then Jaden Martin can't lay it up and in. Here's Lakai Patterson floating it out to Mitchell, and they will run with numbers. And Trey Edmonds fouled from behind, and he hits the deck hard. Tough fall, but he bounces right back up.
This is a great pass. Does he make a play on the basketball? Is this excessive? They're going to go take a look. Coach Brodus was very concerned about the open court turnovers, fast breaks, pick sixes. That was his #1 key, and then late shot clock defense as well. Minnesota, not known for pushing the pace. They're capable of that, but you've got to be able to stay in front of the ball and rebound late.
Now you wonder with Akatobi picking up the foul, because of the trouble he had on the offensive end, does he come back and is this kind of a frustration foul as well? Good hustle to get back, but he goes up, and what do you think?
It looks like initially he makes a play on the ball, but this sort of misses the ball and then comes down on the head. There's such an emphasis on shots to the head, but it looked like he was just attacking the ball at the beginning.
Now the officials have made their decision here. They're just discussing things at center court. They've reviewed things on the monitor. You see what it takes for the flagrant 1 versus the flagrant 2 and the criteria that determines the difference between both. And we'll get the official ruling here in just a moment. It's going to be called a flagrant 1. So Edwards here with the free throw line. They've cleared everybody else back behind half courts. But he can't take advantage.
Well, free throw shooting has been a problem this year for Minnesota. In the last couple games, they're in the mid-80s, so they seem to have solved that problem. But you got to step up and make these. Misses both of them, but anytime there's contact with the head, they're going to lean toward protecting the shooter at the rim.
The free throw shooting has been an issue going back to last season for Minnesota. Yeah. And now this is for the flagrant as Dawson Garcia, their best free throw shooter, comes over. So Brodus got a technical foul. Head coach Kevin Brodus, and that's what Garcia is shooting here. So it was a flagrant one on Daniel Akatobi. Trey Edmonds missing on his 2 free throws. Garcia comes in to shoot the technical here. And Dawson Garcia, a terrific free throw shooter. 85%. He's able to take advantage. It's a 4-point lead. And just over 14 minutes left to go here in this first half. Mike Mitchell driving baseline and softly lays it up and in.
Well, he's so good. I mean, he brings so much to the offensive end for this team. The severe ankle injury. He's still limping around out there, but he knows it's go time. His team needs him, and this is one of the reasons Gopher fans are optimistic going into conference play. If he can get healthy, they can get this thing turned around. He is such a 3-level scorer, and every time he shoots a 3, you feel like it's going to go in.
This is his 4th game back after missing 7 because of the ankle injury, and he scored in double figures in every game since his return. So for a team that doesn't score much to begin with, it's just absolutely critical to have him back in the lineup.
Absolutely. We mentioned he's 10 out of 21 from beyond the arc since returning from the injury. That's elite shooting.
Morgan State running once again, faking the 3, and then Thomas hitting on the mid-range. So Will Thomas, the redshirt senior from Baltimore, staying at home to play his college basketball.
Well, mistake by Osama there. You know he's probably going to put the ball on the floor. Now, he can hit the 3, but they want to get 2 feet into the paint. Got to sag off just a little bit.
Garcia into Edmonds. And a chance for the basket and 1 for Trey Edmonds. Just using his strength. 6'10", the senior from the Denver area. Just has such an advantage inside.
Well, he is so good at this high-low action. Look at Garcia. He gets the seal, puts it off the glass. He won that battle before he even caught it. Was able to get that deep, the athletic move, the kiss off the glass. He's got to get the ball more. He's got to be more assertive. He's got that Big Ten body, and you can see what he can do when he gets it close to the rim.
He is one of the players that head coach Ben Johnson brought in from the portal. He started every game at the University of Texas San Antonio last year, and that was after playing 2 years at Utah Tech. And it is a new roster by and large for Ben Johnson this year. 11 newcomers on this Minnesota team after 7 players left from last year's squad. Will Thomas, second consecutive mid-range basket and as many trips down the floor for the Bear from Morgan State. Will Thomas, second on the team in scoring. Preseason first team all-selection in the MEAC conference. Into Edmonds once again. This time kicks it out for Brennan Rigsby. Osama, good pass down low, and it is Hayden Betts who gets fouled, and he'll head to the line.
Well, the Bears in a 2-3 zone that time, and Minnesota, fantastic job of getting the ball a couple times to the high post, not trying to conquer the defense, kicking it out, playing the percentages to the open shooters. That's how you beat a zone, and they were prepared for it. Great job by Betts. He's got to step up, knock both of these in.
A redshirt sophomore from Pueblo, Colorado, who head coach Ben Johnson told us has taken a big leap this year. Really hard-working player. His confidence has been growing throughout the first couple of months of the season. His dad actually played at San Diego State. His brother played at Air Force, so he's got it in the DNA. And with just about 8 minutes gone by here in Minneapolis, the Gophers have their largest lead now out to 8 points.
Ready, Brad.
Will Thomas taking Osama off the dribble. And the foul on the Gophers here with an 8-point lead here on their home floor.
All right, Tina, 6 is hard to beat.
Not for us.
It's basically like starting from scratch. He lost so many guys from last year's team, and he basically had to start from the ground up in building this year's program.
It's been very difficult for him to start his coaching career with COVID, the NIL, the portal. Minnesota has been hammered by all three of those areas, and he had an outstanding team returning. You saw the names right there. This was going to be a team that competed for a Big Ten championship. The way the world works right now, those guys all take the money and leave, and then he has to start over again and again and again, and it's been very difficult for him to deal with that. He's got a young team here. He's done a nice job of identifying mid-major kids to transfer in, but many of them have just stayed a year and then left.
Femi Odekale gets on the scoreboard with his first basket of the day. Odekale, the 6'6" senior from Brooklyn, who actually has Minnesota roots. Moved here to Minnesota at a young age, played in the St. Cloud area north of here. And now Minnesota with Odekale leading the charge, coming back the other way, and Brennan Rigsby lays it up and in.
Odekale is an outstanding player, especially at the defensive end. He's 6'6". Takes on the other team's leading scorers many nights, has that length. He's got to be more assertive at the offensive end. He's a much better three-point shooter than he's shown, only 2 out of 17 on the year. But his history has been pretty good from beyond the arc. He's got to get to the free throw line more often as well. He's just got to gain confidence going into Big Ten play and shoot the ball more.
Caden Betts with a corner three. His first triple and the largest lead as Minnesota is starting to stretch out the advantage here, and that's going to force a timeout by Kevin Brodus, the head coach for Morgan State. It's a 7-0 run, and the lead has swelled to 13 points.
Well, it's a lot easier.
Immense in just a few days, and to start to see those shots go down. Ben Johnson said it's also been a while since we've not only taken what we practice to a game, but also have one of those games where everything gels, everything clicks. We have patches where we're connected, but we haven't had the full 40 minutes where it feels like we have that flow between everybody on the team.
And he said it's so deflating when you run good offense and miss wide open threes, and that's been the story, but not here today. They've been knocking him in. You got to let that one fly. I think they blocked that one.
Midway through this first half, sizable advantage here for the Gophers. Rob Lawson had it partially blocked. Scramble for it underneath. Akatobi tried to muscle it up, and once again it goes out and over to the Gophers. Morgan State all of a sudden, after hitting on some early shots in the first half dozen minutes, they have gone cold. And this is a team in the Bears that are without 2 of their top 3 scorers coming into this game. Amari Simpkins and Winston Tabbs both out injured.
Yeah, they're a gritty team, right? 5 offensive rebounds already. They're playing with some physicality. There's another great offensive rebound, but without 2 of your leading guys to come on the road like this, they've lived on the road. It's like a rock band on tour right now.
Yeah, for Morgan State, they've been on the road for the better part of the last 2.5 weeks. We'll go home to kick off MEAC play, but not enjoying this last outing away from home over the holidays. However, they did spend yesterday at the Mall of America, so they had that nice little afternoon off.
So much to do when you come to Minneapolis. There's the miss, and what a snatch. Two-handed, grab it, rip it down. Coach Thornton was tough on Mitchell in practice yesterday. Said, you've got to bring that to the games. You're practicing well, but we need that toughness and physicality when it matters. And he's responded in this first half.
Cameron Hobbs with that basket, coming off a 23-point performance in a loss to Iowa State in the last game for Morgan State. Now down to Frank Mitchell. He's double teamed. Able to find Osama, the freshman, and he knocks down the floater.
Great kick out by Mitchell. He wanted to conquer that double team. He got his footwork messed up a little bit. Kicks it out. The defense has already collapsed. That leads to the open lane to the basket. Minnesota right now clicking on all cylinders at the offensive end.
Akatobi tied up and a jump ball with the arrow favoring Morgan State.
Well, you mentioned Cam Hobbs. They need a big game out of him. Double figures 5 of the last 6 games after a slow start. With the other guys injured, he's going to have that 20-point type of night if they're going to keep this thing close. Was 10 out of 17 from the floor against the Cyclones.
This is Will Thomas trying to get to the rim. He's double teamed here, and they are going to get Caden Betts on the foul, his first personal. So Will Thomas back to the free throw line for the second time in this game. 2 of 2 so far.
Yeah, he's one of the reasons Coach Broadus thinks they can win the league. Preseason 4th in the conference, but he knows when they get healthy, they're going to be very difficult to stop. They obviously have to shore up their defense, but no one's going to be as battle tested as these guys. I mean, they have played against some tough teams, lived on the road. They've definitely got a chance to win the league, and he's a perfect fit for that program. He just gets it. Outstanding practice last night. Team got up and down. He's playing for the future. A lot of guys, defensive techniques, and he's upset right now. Look at him. At some point, you have to get out. You throw the analytics out the window. When a team comes out, it's on fire no matter how they've shot early in the season. You got to get a hand up and make them put it on the floor.
Mike Mitchell, the first player into double figures here today. He's got 11 on 3 of 3 shooting from beyond the arc. Will Thomas, tough turnaround over the top of Caden Betts. And Will Thomas has been a bright spot offensively for the Bears here. He's into double figures now. He's also got 11 to match Mitchell for high scoring honors. Mitchell again, this time off the dribble. And his jump shot is just in rhythm right now. Averaging a dozen per game, second leading scorer on the team behind Dawson Garcia. Betts scrambling for it, finds Mitchell. Makai Patterson. And they'll restart the offense.
Mitchell's got to touch it on this possession. You got to find him. He's on fire.
Parker Fox to Brennan Rigsby.
And when Mitchell is playing as well as he is, he cannot go down and have 5 or 6 passes and he not touch the ball one time.
Yeah. Akatobi. Mike Mitchell. And there he is once again. 4 of 4 from downtown. Mike Mitchell, the native of San Jose, California, started every game for 2 years at Pepperdine before making the move here to Minnesota. Now the senior, such an important part of this offense. And the game-high scorer right now with just under 6 to play first half.
He's just been awesome, right? He knew he was in a rhythm. He was not going to pass that basketball. There's a nice answer. That's a much-needed bucket for the Bears. But Mitchell, if you're the Bears right now, you cannot let him get the ball back. And if he gets it, you've got to extend on him. He is in a zone.
Cameron Hobbs connecting with that last basket. Makai Patterson was trying to find Fox rolling towards the basket. Substitutions upcoming with just over 5 minutes left in the first half.
Well, it's been the Mitchell show here at the barn. The students are gone, but this is
the 2 most missed players here today for Morgan State. Winston Tabbs, their leading scorer, and Amari Simpkins, who can also fill it up and hit the boards. Both of them out injured here today. So for Morgan State, what was an uphill climb got even steeper at the opening tip.
And it's smart by the coaching staff and the training staff. If they're not 100% ready to go, they're going to save them for conference play. That's what matters the most to their team. But give their guys credit for fighting on the road. They just haven't been able to shut down the three-point shot. And that's a rare miss for the Gophers. It came in shooting 29% from 3 and What are they today so far? 50% from beyond the arc.
64% from the field altogether.
Yeah.
Coaches will oftentimes talk about a get-right game, and this kind of feels like it's heading in that direction for Minnesota. Mike Mitchell has not missed from the field today. Now Dawson Garcia stares down a three, and Fox is fouled as he tried to fly in for the offensive rebound.
Every coach in the Big Ten wants a Parker Fox on their team. He's athletic. He hedges ball screens extremely well defensively, and when that shot goes up, he comes flying in from nowhere, lays his body on the line, and just gets around the rim. And he just earned a possession for the Gophers right there. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Lakai Patterson was triple teamed eventually, and he draws the foul, so he'll have a pair of free throws with 4.5 to go in the half.
Well, those are winning plays by Parker Fox. They don't show up in the stat sheet, but he kept the possession alive. Patterson's able to go to the free throw line. He's got to knock this in, and Ben Johnson has to get more over the next couple months out of Patterson. 14 out of 59 from three on the year. He's a much better three-point shooter than that. Had a year where he went 35% and another year at 39% at Charlotte. So he can knock them in. Just got to find his confidence. Great pump fake and power. Nice job stepping up to the line and scoring with the clock stopped.
He is a Minneapolis native. Second team all-conference while he was at Charlotte, but very important to this Golden Gopher program. His dad knows head coach Ben Johnson very well. His father, a prominent high school coach here in the Twin Cities. Actually played with Ben Johnson at one point, and they've developed a relationship over the years, so it was easy for Patterson to decide to come here and play for the Gophers. Four to go first half. Mike Mitchell still has not missed from the field. Now 5 of 5 from beyond the arc. 19 points here in the first half. That's a season best for him, and we're still in the first half of play, the better part of 4 minutes remaining.
The Mitchell-Garcia high pick and roll should be unstoppable, as you saw on that last play. Both of those guys are slippery. They have high basketball IQs. Their spacing is outstanding. They should put the defense in precarious situation multiple times down the court. There's another rim attack by Fox. But there's this high pick and roll offense. Garcia's going to set the screen. They're going to get the switch that they want. Keep your eye on Mitchell. There's the screen, the switch. The big man can't get up. He knocks it in. That's what we need to see multiple times this year. They can both rain threes and are quick. They've got to get that figured out. Stay late after practice. Work on the pick and roll. Hey, the Gophers were looking for that explosion offensively. He was so injured, and you can tell he's still limping around a little bit. That's obviously really hurt them over the last couple of weeks. But if he can stay healthy, it's so nice for him to not have to go to class right now, to have this time off. He can rehab, get in the gym a couple times a day, and it's paid huge dividends. His shot looks perfect, and thus a perfect first half, which is hard to do.
Parker Fox at the free throw line, a guy who is from just about 20 minutes northeast of here. Played 3 years in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Missed 2 years because of knee injuries, but went through all of the rehab, the grind, the grueling days away from the court just to get back and play for his home state team. And a foul here will allow Morgan State to get to the free throw line.
Fox dreamed of playing in the Big Ten. Wanted to test himself. Can I play at this level? Do I belong? Wanted to wear the Gopher uniform, and absolutely he belongs. He's made a huge impact in this first half with his hustle plays.
Cameron Hobbs at the free throw line for the first time here today. The redshirt senior from Stockbridge, Georgia, who played 2 years at North Greenville University. Preseason all-third team selection in the MEAC Conference.
His uncle Carl, a legendary coach on the East Coast, and assistant coach right now at Georgia Tech. Was with Steve Peichel at Rutgers for a lot of years, a UConn guy, and high school teammates with Patrick Ewing. And I always tell Carl, I say, you were teammates with Patrick Ewing, weren't you? And he always responds, no, he was teammates with me. So
right.
his nephew doing really good things here for the Bears, and Coach Broda says Carl Hobbs is his best friend in the business, so they are very close.
Parker Fox will head back to the free throw line. It's kind of like when Michael Jordan went off for 63 points and the other guys had 1 or 2, and you say, yeah, me and Michael combined for 63 on the night.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
I love it.
Daniel Akatobi, a second personal foul. And Parker Fox back at the stripe. He was the conference player of the year while in South Dakota. And a guy who already has his master's in sports management. So the redshirt senior has things lined up after his basketball playing days are over. But that's what the landscape now allows you to do. You can spend time rehabbing, and you can take a journey to different schools, but then come back and play at your home state school like Fox to end your career. Jaden Martin going around Otakale, but Fox is there. A demonstrative block into the Minnesota bench.
Well, little Dikembe Mutombo, get that out of here. Even puts the finger up, waves it. The timing, the explosiveness. Check this out. This kid, wow. Nice block. The Gophers block 5 shots a game, and you can see why on that play.
Third block for them here in this first half. And a rebound to Mitchell. Good seal by Fox. Parker Fox. Extra pass. Lakai Patterson sharing the basketball, but didn't reap the spoils that time. However, still leading by 20 here with just north of 2 minutes left to go here in the first 20 of this game this afternoon. Fouled by the Gophers here. Second on Otakale. And Isaac Osma, the freshman, checking back in for Femi Otakale. Isaac Osama, the freshman from Cherry, Minnesota, about 200 miles north of here, and a guy who's been able to contribute as a freshman. He's been terrific in so many different respects, a very versatile player. And these days, Jess, freshmen don't always come in and play the way they used to. I mean, with the portal, guys are more experienced. Coaches are looking for those mature 21, 22-year-olds. So to be a freshman and get meaningful playing time like Osma, you got to be pretty good.
You're darn right. I mean, it's hard to get minutes when you're playing with men. Some of these guys have been out there 6, 7 years now, and a lot of these coaches aren't even recruiting freshmen. But he has to play a big role for this team in January and February. And he's got that ability, an elite high school scorer. He fits in well here. He's also a good defensive player. And on this pick and roll action, when he turns the corner, he's got to attack the rim. He's a little passive right now. They need him to score. Wow.
Mike Mitchell can't miss from over in St. Paul. If he launched it from there, he'd still connect from 3 the way he is going on the day. Mitchell now with 22, 6 of 6 from downtown.
Oh, this is the best shooting display and a half I've seen all season long.
Cameron Hobbs answers with a 3 for Morgan State. He's their team leader in made threes this season, but only 30% from deep. So the percentage isn't quite there, but this is a team in Morgan State that just doesn't take a lot of threes. I mean, second to last in Division I in three-point attempts.
I asked Coach Brodas about that last night. He just said, look, we got to play to our strength. We're not a great three-point shooting team, so why launch them?
Shot clock winding all the way down to 2. Got to get it up. Parker Fox. And he missed the rim. Buzzer went off, but Morgan State already in transition with Hobbs leading the way. Good pull-up, tip back up, and they missed 3 cracks at it before Dawson Garcia came away with the rebound for the Gophers. And then Fox, an easy lay-in off the long outlet.
Well, Parker Fox with the ultimate cherry pick play. Falls down, doesn't get back, just stays at half court. Sometimes it pays not to get back, and it did on that one. That's Matador defense right there. Ben Johnson not happy with the effort on that play. Still coaching. Gonna go to his bench.
Season 55-37 the score, and with just about half a minute now left to go here in this opening frame. Now the big story for Minnesota. The shots are finally starting to fall in a way they haven't all season long. Difference of about 7 seconds shot clock to game clock here. Lakai Patterson. And the rebound to Lawson. Final seconds. Hobbs launches from deep. And that goes out just as the horn sounds to end a very productive first half for Minnesota. 55-37. 4 from the field. He's been very good defensively. Down low, he's been a presence. Also having a very good game today, but nobody as hot as this man, Mike Mitchell, playing in his 100th career college game today.
Dawson Garcia has only taken 3 shots in this game, but he's got 7 points. And this is how Minnesota has to play sometimes. That's too open. I think they got a finger on him. I think that shot was blocked, but Garcia being double and triple teamed. You got to make those defenses pay for that, and the Gophers did in the first half.
Daniel Akatobi, and he is fouled by Dawson Garcia. Akatobi, the leading rebounder for this Morgan State team. And he'll shoot free throws here as we open up half number 2.
Cameron Hobbs continues to be great for Morgan State. They are down what seems like 5 men in this game, but they played hard, just have not been able to find an answer for Mitchell. And there are games within the game. I know their coaching staff at halftime was talking to them mostly about the defensive end. We've got to make Minnesota put the ball on the floor. I know that's not what the scouting report said coming in, but you have to change it on the fly, get a hand up, make them put the ball down. These 3-point shots are just killing their defense.
So Mike Mitchell now 6 of 7 from 3-point range. And if you're the head coach, Ben Johnson, do you pull him? I mean, can you go with this kind of drought any longer?
You expect more from Mitchell.
Parker Fox, another prime player in that first half. Shot clock here, now in single digits for the Gophers. Lakai Patterson around Hobbs. And Fox is there with the authoritative finish. Good cleanup. And Parker Fox now into double figures with 11. And Fox on the floor trying to rip that one away. And a jump ball. And it will stay with the Bears.
Well, Morgan State, thinking what we were thinking. They're face guarding Mitchell, you see over in the corner. So it's a 4-on-4 game, and there's the follow-up. He's been doing that since middle school. He is so good at crashing the boards. No one blocks him out, and that's devastating to your defense when you get a stop, and then you get posterized because you forget to block out.
Tough shot by Will Thomas. For Morgan State from the field, now shooting just under 40% on the game.
Well, they just haven't been able to get out and run. No points on the fast break. Maybe this is their first opportunity. That was one of the keys for them and to get ahead of the defense.
Now Ben Johnson has made it a priority for Minnesota to stop those transition baskets, and by and large it was a success in the first half.
Yeah.
That's their first transition basket of the second half, though.
Well, Ben Johnson's got to find a way to get Patterson involved in this game. Just not shooting the ball with confidence. Needs to find some open looks. There's one right there. See, he's not confident, Steve, to pull the trigger.
But he will get to the free throw line. Fouled here by Jaden Martin.
He's got to be willing to put that ball up in the air, because you're just not going to get to the rim that easily against Big Ten competition. Now, he's got to step up and knock these down, but at some point you have to throw the analytics and the stat sheets out and just take the play that the defense gives you. Obviously gets hit at the rim. Nice drive to the basket.
Lakai Patterson, after playing 2 years at Charlotte, also played 2 years at Mississippi State, but from here in the Minneapolis area, scored almost 3,000 points as a high school player here in the Twin Cities. One of 2 players to have started every game, averaging in double figures here this season. And Patterson today, though, well off that mark. Still has not hit a field goal, 0 of 6. Hobbs kicks it back out. Now Martin. And Fox will tip it over to Otakali. And that's deflected by Thomas. So the ball remains with Minnesota. Well, we mentioned it earlier. Dawson Garcia, a very quiet day for the best player on this Minnesota team. Just 2 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range. But because of the play of Mike Mitchell and Parker Fox, he just hasn't had to be that big of a focus offensively.
Look out.
Came right to us.
I can tell you were a former shooter. I mean, your eye quickness right there to get your fingertip on that ball was impressive.
Not a shooter, just trying to play defense. Right? Kind of like my shortstop days when I couldn't read the hops and it just kind of bounced up into my face. Spent a lot of time trying to protect the mug.
Your son's the shooter.
He is much better than me.
This is bringing your kid to work day here on Peacock for us.
It
Got
is.
my daughter Gemma with me.
Yeah.
Your son's here. In the barn.
The college kids.
Yeah.
Off over Christmas, so hey, why not bring them to the barn here?
Did you get this much time off? Like, I didn't realize.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
I mean, what is this, a month and a half? For
fall break,
my daughter?
Christmas break, spring break.
The kind of money we're paying?
Late winter break, like Arbor Day break. Parker Fox, good pass for Dawson Garcia, and he's going to be fouled.
We talk about Dawson Garcia. Not a lot of shot attempts in this game, but what's the reason all of his teammates are open? Because he's getting double and triple teamed, and he kicks it out and is making the extra pass. Great pick and roll. There's Fox. He's been outstanding in this game. Moving the basketball. Look at it, side to side. Parker Fox, man, I tell you what. We've said his name 50 times in this game, and Garcia steps up and rims that one. But he has had his fingerprints. Garcia, that is all over this game, has not forced it. Been able to get teammates open.
Dawson Garcia spends a lot of time at the free throw line. In fact, he has made over 3 times as many free throws as anybody else on this Gopher squad. He's been to the line more than anybody by a factor of 2. That's just how prominent he's been factored into the offense of this team.
It's interesting. I mean, obviously he's a great scorer and an elite talent, but getting to the free throw line is a skill that you usually learn at this level. You don't think about it in high school because you get so many easy baskets, but Garcia lives at the line because he has a pump fake. And you saw in that last possession when he scored, he pump fakes it. Shot blockers cannot stay on the floor typically. You get them in the air, you get your shoulder into them, get to the free throw line, and even on those nights where you're not shooting it well, you're going to get your points. Now, he shoots the free throw better than that. He missed the last 2, but he's very good at getting there.
That last foul on Femi Odakale, who's on the ball right now. Odakale, the first player with 3 personal fouls in this basketball game. Lakai Patterson ahead to Garcia. On the spin, had it stripped. Here's Cameron Hobbs. And he hits on the pull-up. Hobbs, the leading scorer so far today for Morgan State here on the road, now with 16. He is one of 2 players in double figures for the Bears.
Sometimes the injuries and these big road trips can be a blessing in disguise, even with the losses. And Cameron Hobbs has been able to step up. Now you go into conference play. If you're Morgan State, you've got a lot more weapons, and they're going to need it. They've cut it to 15, making it interesting, but really all Gophers so far in this one.
Prominent former Golden Gophers, and well, you've got Randy Brewer, Michael Thompson, but also a lot of recent talent that not necessarily has come to the University of Minnesota, but that's come out of this state. Guys like Chet Holmgren, Jalen Suggs. I mean, Minnesota has produced some top-tier talent.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it's a bitter pill to swallow for Gopher fans. There's been so much talent over the last decade. There's Dawson Garcia. He's just an incredible talent. I mean, just look how much spacing he has now that his guys are hitting 3-point shots. He gets wide open. He's really good at that pick and roll action. But it was interesting. Khalid El-Amin was here at practice last night talking to the Bears, and another Minnesota guy who got away, led UConn to a national title. It's been too many of them have been able to get out of town.
Akatobi followed by Parker Fox.
Yeah, dribble penetration, wide open by Garcia. He started the year on fire from beyond the arc. Went into a little bit of a slump, but Coach Johnson said he works so hard on and off the court, in the classroom, in the weight room. He always brings the energy. And how about this? Never has a bad day. Just a great example for any high school player, small college guy. Don't ever have a bad day. Even if your game's off a little bit, bring the positive attitude, the work ethic. And he's stuck around. He believes in this program, wants to finish his career here. He's had a great day today, not stuffing the stat sheet like he typically does, but making everybody around him better.
Daniel Akatobi, perfect from the free throw line, 4 of 4. He's got 6 points. A 61-45 lead for the Gophers, coming up on the 5-minute mark here in this second half. Trey Edmonds, Isaac Osama, both back in for Minnesota. It's Dawson Garcia working his way into the lane, and he'll head back to the free throw line. You can tell by his reaction just how much he wanted the field goal. He loves that little floater in the lane, whether it's straight down the paint or whether it's cutting in from an angle. It's one of his trademark shots.
Well, he's just such a difficult matchup for 5 men because they can't stay in front of him. And so you go with the small forward. Like in this situation, well, then he just overpowers the small forward. So almost an unguardable player. The scouting report nightmare brings a mismatch, and he's had a tremendous year. I mean, the big story, we keep going back to it. Minnesota 29% from 3 coming into this game, and a lot of those shots have been wide open, and they finally are knocking them in.
Cameron Hobbs misses on the 3, and Garcia yanks away the rebound. Leading the 3-on-3, Lakai Patterson still has not made a field goal today for Minnesota.
And again, there's Garcia, the little Magic Johnson pushing the basketballs to point forward, and then kicks it out for the open 3, and they can't convert it.
Will Thomas on the spin. Well, for Minnesota, they will no doubt be relieved that Mike Mitchell has had the kind of day he has from the field and starting to get some secondary scoring, which is going to be critical going into Big Ten play, because you know the teams are really going to double up on Dawson Garcia. They're going to sit on him, so you're going to have to find those guys like Mitchell here who can also contribute offensively, and Trey Edmonds following that shot and cleaning up on the rebound.
Well, Trey set some man-sized screens on that possession. 2 or 3 hard hits to get Mitchell open. And then he just attacks the rim for the easy putback.
Cameron Hobbs is going to be followed by Lakai Patterson.
Well, here's the miss. There it is. You shed the defense. You go right up, soft touch. Such a physical player. That's exactly how you do it. Almost like a defensive end getting around an offensive lineman. You just throw them, no whistle, get to the rim and put it in. It's some old Clem Haskins power forward type of guy I used to play with. Those trip and scratch and claw and toss you over the edge of the court. Those 90s Big Ten days.
And this is one of those elevated courts that you have here in Minnesota. So you get tossed off of here, man. You really are tumbling.
I'll tell you. We were talking before the game. Bo Ryan used to have his guys roll off the edge the night before the games just to prepare them if they're going for loose balls and just show them how far a drop that is. It's an advantage. It's a weird feeling when you play here for the first time to be on this elevated stage, and you know, the tight games, that ball's going out of bounds. Do you dive for it or not, right?
Did Bo Ryan at least put something like a cushion down, or did they fall onto the concrete floor?
No, Bo just let him hit the concrete. He's an old school guy.
Of course. Just about 7 minutes deep here in the second half. This is Rob Lawson. And the rebound to Thomas, blocked by Garcia. Mike Mitchell finding Lakai Patterson. And now Garcia, the corner 3. Dawson Garcia now 3 and 4 from downtown.
What a sequence for Garcia. He switches onto the point guard at one end, has to slide his feet, forces a tough shot, then comes up with the block shot, sprints the court, doesn't get the layup, slips to the corner and knocks in the three-point shot. That's his versatility. That's what makes him one of the better players in the country, not just the Big Ten.
The lead is 21. Good no look from Mitchell to Edmonds, but he wasn't ready for it. It was too good. Rob Lawson, and the rebound to Garcia. Mike Mitchell, a little quieter so far in this second half. Edmonds again having trouble finding the pass from Mitchell, this time against two defenders. Gets two chances at it, and eventually turns it over.
That's great officiating, right? It looks like a foul, but it's not. You hit the ball twice, play on, outstanding job by the Stripes right there. Let these guys battle.
Under 12 left to go.
See if the Bears can get something downhill. They got to be able to get 2 feet into the paint. That's what they do well, and then crash the boards.
Shot clock at 5. Will Thomas over Garcia. That's just too tough of a shot. Especially with the shot clock winding down like that. That's just not the situation you want to be in.
Garcia could switch on all 5 positions, so he has done a phenomenal job over the last 3 or 4 minutes at the defensive end.
Garcia again for 3. As a team, Minnesota has been dynamic from three-point range here today, hitting at almost 50%. And Dawson Garcia 4 of 5 from three-point range. Mike Mitchell 6 of 8. Jaden Martin from Oregon State, kind of a chaotic shot, and the Bears just can't find anything to fall offensively. Lakai Patterson finally hits his first field goal of the day, and he'll try to top it off with a three-point play in just a moment.
Dawson Garcia, it feels like there's 2 of him in this game. Switching on the guards, blocking shots, running the court, hitting three-point shots. He has the basketball. They've rebounded well in this game, closing out much better. It's a little deceiving. In conference play, they gave up 90 to Michigan State and 82 to Indiana. So as the competition increases, they've got to get better at that end. That being said, when you're knocking down three-point shots, I don't care what anybody says, you play better defense. You just have more energy when you're hitting shots. You're able to set your defense. Got more adrenaline. You're feeling better about life when those threes are going in, which they have not gone in all season until today.
Closing in on the midpoint of this second half. It was Mike Mitchell dominating offensively for the Golden Gophers in the first half. So far, it's been Dawson Garcia in this second frame. Brendan Rigsby, his first shot of the second half. And the third miss from deep for Rigsby, the senior from Colorado. For Dawson Garcia, he's got 11 points, 3 of 3 from downtown, all in the second half alone, and he's got another rebound right here. 18 points on the day for him. 4 of 5 from three-point range for the game. Lakai Patterson. Tough day from the field for Patterson. And an interesting stat line. He's 1 of 9 from the field to 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Half a dozen points for Patterson.
He's talking to himself. I mean, very frustrated. This is one of those situations with an afternoon game. As you see the nice drive right there to the rim. Well, with an afternoon game, you might want to come back tonight and get shots up and get that out of your system. He's going to have to work on that. It's going to take a lot of reps. He's a much better shooter than this, and he's going to be a big factor in Big Ten play. He's got to knock down those open shots. He's capable of it. I think he will.
Last non-conference game for both of these teams on the season. League play begins in just a few days. Here's Edmonds, fouled on the shot by Trent Edwards. So this is that very interesting time of year. You're between Christmas and New Year's, and you're finishing out the non-conference portion of the season, and some guys are kind of looking ahead already at league play because this is when things really begin in earnest, and you want to be ready. You want to be primed. Coaches always talk about those different stages of the season, and obviously you like to peak in the spring, but you got to be ready to go when conference play kicks off.
That's a great point. And as a former coach and player, I always thought this 3 weeks was the most important of the season. I mean, so many guys get distracted, right? You're going home, you're planning holiday trips. Sometimes the competition's not great, but the elite players stay in shape. They're not worried about classes. There's nothing going on academically. You're almost a pro for 3 weeks, and you can live in the gym, eat right, and get better. And you will see over the next couple weeks the teams that took this time off seriously, they will surge, and it'll take some of the other teams a little chance to catch up, and sometimes it's too late. So the Gophers have worked hard, and you can see from this game they've stayed in shape, they've prepared, and they've lived in the gym shooting the basketball.
Rob Lawson with the
Nice.
shot clock winding down. Basically, it's the opposite of what the rest of us do. When we don't watch what we eat, we don't know what day it is, the house is a mess, our brains are in a fog, I mean, the calendar's upside down. As a collegiate basketball player, you got to be dialed in.
Sometimes kids, as a coach and a player, teammates or guys on my team would come back from that 3 or 4 day break, and you can tell they hadn't touched the ball, and they've done nothing but watch TV and eat. And the Gophers obviously haven't been doing that. They've been working on their game.
But Akali got a piece of that shot by Lawson. Isaac Osama spinning, handing to Brennan Rigsby, and he banks it home. Timeout. As we have an injured player on the other end, Rob Lawson down with 7.5 now left to play.
All right.
Scoring and rebounding, but in the second half, he asserted himself at both ends of the floor. The Bears made a little comeback, but his defense, his blocked shots, his ability to run the floor, and obviously his lethal three-point shooting have been the difference. He's been a star, an All-American in this last 15 minutes here.
Daniel Akatobi with the basket for Morgan State here. The lead at 21. As we come up on the final 7 minutes from Williams Arena. Down low for Frank Mitchell. And several bodies hitting the deck. And Mitchell is a big one. He is such a presence down low. It is hard to find the muscle to keep up with him.
Akatobi challenged him, and those two guys collided. If you're Coach Broadus here, do you slap a full court press on with 7 minutes to go? You try to force a bunch of turnovers. He'll probably just stick with his game plan with how they play. But I like his team. They're obviously in trouble in this one, but with all of the injuries and the way they've been battle tested, I talked to him last night, and he's been around for 30 years in coaching, was assistant coach at Maryland. They've been in here a few times with Maryland playing against the Gophers back in the Richard Pitino era, but he said, my president is incredible. There's a strong vision there. Need a little bit more money to be invested into the arena, into the floor. So I hope somebody will step up and do that, because he is such a great coach. And I'm telling you, his practice last night was one of the best I've seen all season long. His guys were locked in. They were competitive. It was outstanding to watch, and I learned a lot from him.
They're picked to finish 4th in the MEAC conference, but he believes they can actually win the league. They're the only team in the conference that have 2 players selected as first-team preseason picks. So they have the talent. Now it's just a matter of, has the non-conference prepared them? And both Mitchell and Akatobi fall over each other here. That was after the whistle.
Now, there he is. And you and I have been to a lot of practices in our careers, and you can tell the guys who are with it, know what's going on, and can teach the game and love the kids. He's that guy. I mean, the ultimate compliment is, I would have loved to play for him, and if I had a son, I'd have no problem sending my son to play for him, and that's just what you want with all the chaos going on. I mean, Ben Johnson talked about it. Coach Broadus talked about it. You still love the game, and you love the kids, and you want to make them better and compete for championships. And there's a nice play.
Terrific pass from Lawson underneath. Akatobi on the finish. Lawson, the leader on this team in assists, a junior from the D.C. area, just about 45 minutes away from campus. You see why he's so good at dishing the rock. Now Brennan Rigsby, who's had a tough day from three-point range, but finally hits his first of this second half. Brennan Rigsby, who comes from a town near Grand Junction, Colorado, played 2 years at Oregon after starting his career at the JUCO level in Florida.
It's 6 double-figure games at Oregon, 35% three-point shooter, and only 5 of his last 27 coming in. So we keep talking about guys who can shoot the three-point shot and are capable of. It's nice to see them falling today because that hasn't been the story.
Nice. And Frank Mitchell laying it up and in. The junior from Toronto who played 2 years at Canisius, was second-team all-conference and led his conference in double-doubles a year ago. And with 5 minutes left to go, the interesting thing about Minnesota as they head off to Big Ten play after this game today is, will the scoring continue? Will the secondary scoring beyond Dawson Garcia, who has been such a prominent figure in their offense, will that be reliable on a regular basis? Because it has been absent so far through the first couple of months of the season, and they're going to need more than that guy number 3 here when they start to get into the meat.
Previous play is under review for a potential flagrant foul.
Now the foul was called on Frank Mitchell. And so they're going to review it here and see if it's going to be upgraded from a common foul to a flagrant. Now let's take a look. Oh yeah, the push right there on Rob Lawson. What do you think?
Yeah, it's excessive. It's not a basketball play, so they're going to take a look at it, and just no need for that far away from the basket with this type of lead. It's just not a smart play by a guy who's had a good game.
Player who's battled some shoulder injuries. Had 12 rebounds per game last year at Canisius. That was 4th in the country.
Coach Thornton yesterday at practice, who was Coach Johnson's high school coach at De La Salle, where they won multiple state championships, he was on Mitchell hard yesterday. He's like, we got to get more out of you.
The ruling on the floor stands. Common foul against Minnesota.
So the second personal foul on Mitchell, who growing up in a suburb of Toronto, played a lot of hockey as a kid. I know, shocking that you would play hockey as a kid growing up around Toronto, but that's of course what he did. Didn't switch to basketball until he was 18 years of age. Obviously has the body, the demeanor, and can control the low block.
He's a tough kid, and they're going to need him in Big Ten play. He's locked in. He's got to be a better practice player. He's got to come to practice every day and dominate and give 100%. When you step up to this level, playing hard is not good enough. You have to do it every single rep, every single practice. They believe in him, and he's responded in this one, but the competition obviously is going to get a lot better here.
Will Thomas misses with 1 on the shot clock. Martin runs down the loose ball. Shot clock back into single digits here. Now Lawson creating space. And the rebound to Minnesota, and Caleb Williams, the senior, making his first appearance of the day. A guy from just about 80 miles west of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And who knows, maybe after this game we'll head down the road to US Bank Stadium to see his Packers take on the Vikings. Big game in the NFC North coming up this afternoon here in the Twin Cities. Three-pointer for Williams. Instant offense for a guy who played 3 years at a D3 school in nearby St. Paul and was one of their all-time top scorers.
Well, that was a nice-looking shot and brought a smile to his face. I think he might have even winked at one of his teammates there. Just, you come in, knock that in, it feels good. Keep your eye on him under the rim right there, loading up defensively. And nice drive.
And that'll be Lawson to the free throw line. Winding things down, 3.5 to go, and a big lead for the Gophers here at home.
It's a big world.
From Minnesota, since the first half. A chance to empty the bench for head coach Ben Johnson, so Mitchell will most likely sit the rest of the way. Meanwhile, it is Demajion Tops, the redshirt junior, at the free throw line for Morgan State, the native of Mississippi who played at a JUCO school before matriculating to Baltimore.
The Bears just were not able to get out and run the way they typically do. Only 4 fast break points. Give a lot of credit to Minnesota. That was their #1 point of emphasis coming into this game. And then obviously you did not expect the Gophers to shoot the 3 this well if you're a Bears fan.
That's a big block by Oliver. And now Tops on the run. Well, with 3 minutes now left to go for Minnesota, head coach Ben Johnson said that coming in, the one thing they hadn't had was that one contest where everything clicked from start to finish. That one complete, comprehensive performance by everybody on the roster. Where does this game fall in your estimation in terms of getting close to that?
Yeah, mission accomplished. I mean, they were elite in the opening half, and regardless of the competition, they have not been able to hit open shots. And so that's what they were looking for. So they needed that. And he talked to us multiple times about that. And this is the game they needed to give them confidence. Now, can they carry it over? I think they can. I think they're going to win several Big Ten games. They're going to shoot the ball a lot better from the free throw line and from the three-point line. And they have some weapons. And their defense will carry. They block a lot of shots. They're physical. They're not going to win the league, but they've got an opportunity to make some noise.
They were picked to finish at the bottom of the Big Ten Conference prior to the start of the season, and that was mostly due to the fact that they lost so many players, so it's very much a new team. What's going to be the biggest challenge for them going into league play?
It's going to be hitting those open shots on the road when those 4 or 5 shots make the difference between winning and losing. And this is the first time they've been able to do it. Now, obviously, the competition gets a lot better, but they are an unselfish group. We've seen that today. They move the basketball. They like each other. They've worked hard over this break, but you have to be able to step up. Coaches can't shoot the ball for you. There's another good drive. You pick up the whistle. It's just, you know, we talk about the NBA being in a make or miss league. It's like that in college basketball as well, especially when you don't have a dominant force inside. And with Zach Edey out of the league for Purdue, there aren't a lot of teams that have the dominant force. It's going to be a lot of perimeter shooting. It's going to be the difference between winning and losing.
Meanwhile, for Morgan State, Cameron Hobbs with that free throw now has 23 points on the day. He is the game-high scorer, surpassing Mike Mitchell of Minnesota. And this is back-to-back games where Hobbs has had 23 points. He also posted that number in a loss at Iowa State in their most recent contest. There is Lakai Patterson, and it has not been his day. Mitchell, though, underneath with the offensive rebound and the stick back. Well, one other thing that Ben Johnson said, we have to win the battle on the glass. They've also done that here today over Morgan State. And for the Bears, this is a team that, as they look ahead to MEAC play, will hope to get their 2 top scorers back in Amari Simpkins and Winston Tabbs, who didn't play today because of injuries. Tabbs, their top scorer, has missed the last 4, so it's critical they get them back as they head into conference play in just a few days. And a miss by Caleb Williams. We'll get another chance here with the freshman Asama driving in. Inside of the final minute from here in Minneapolis. And Cameron Hobbs, a career high 25 points in what will be a losing effort, but certainly a bright spot for a guy who had to step in to fill the void with a lack of scoring with Tabbs and Simpkins out. He did his job today, but it is going to be a decisive win for Minnesota. 90-68, and that's what the final score looks to be here as the final seconds tick away.
Coach Johnson was looking for a game where the three-pointers started to fall. He got that. Great job by his stars to step up. They were obviously the better team, and let's see if they can keep that going forward. Minnesota
improving to 8-5 on the season, 8-2 here at home. Morgan State will drop to 6-10. They have not one away from Baltimore. This will be 0-8 now on the road for them this season. A 22-point win for the Gophers over the Bears. And now for Just Settles, I'm Steve Schlein.